Madam Clerk, Mr. Sergeant at Arms.
All persons not entitled to privileges of the floor under the rules of the Senate must now vacate the chamber.
Please rise for the invocation by Pastor Ron Edmondson, Emmanuel Baptist Church, Lexington, Kentucky, guest of the Senator from Fayette 12, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you for your service to our Commonwealth. Let's pray. God, we thank you for the privilege of living in a state where leaders gather freely to serve the people of this Commonwealth and open with the tradition of prayer. Today we ask for wisdom, courage, and humility. May the decisions made in this chamber today reflect integrity, justice, and a sincere commitment to the people of Kentucky, and in the tradition in which I pray, in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Berg. Senator Boswell. Senator Carpenter. Senator Carroll. Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Clemens. Senator Deneen. Senator Douglas. Senator Elkins. Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Girdler. Senator Givens. Senator Herron. Senator Higdon. Senator Howell. Senator Maiden. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel. Senator Meredith. Senator Mills. Senator Neal. Senator Nemes. Senator Nunn. Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Rawlings. Senator Reed. Senator Richardson. Senator Smith. Senator Stivers. Senator Storm. Senator Thomas. Senator Tishner. Senator Webb. Senator West. Senator Wheeler. Senator Williams. Senator Wilson. Senator Wise.
Any member seeking recognition for the purpose of answering the roll? Seeing none, there being 29 members present, a quorum is declared. The Senate is authorized and prepared to do business. First order of business would be excuse of the absent senator. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I move that the absent senators be excused.
Without objection, the absent senators are excused. Next order of business is approval of the journal. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I move that the journal from Tuesday, March the 10th, 2026 be approved as written.
Without objection, the journal from Tuesday, March 10th, 2026 is approved as written. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, thank you. We welcome all those that are watching us online or watching us also from KET from their homes, as well as any of those that may be in our annex viewing area of today's proceedings. Today is day 44 of the 60-day legislative session. The annex was very busy today with many constituents, many other groups and individuals visiting with us, but we thank those that are watching as we conduct our daily proceedings on the Senate floor.
Thank you, Senator from Taylor. Before we go on with our regular business, Chair would recognize the Senator from Grayson.
Thank you, Mr. President. On this, the 44th day of our legislative session, the Clerk of the House is here to communicate with our Senate.
Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. President. The House has passed House Bills 9, 501, 502, 571, 774, 869, 900, and House Joint Resolution 75 and 76, and respectfully request concurrence of this honorable body. Thank you.
Now, we'll go on with our regularly scheduled business. Mr. Clerk, you have a calendar of bills. Please report.
For Wednesday, March 11th, 2026, second reading of bills on the regular calendar. Senate Bill 97, an act relating to coverage for prostheses and orthoses. Senator Girdler. Senate Bill 223, an act relating to the regulation of cannabis-infused beverages and declaring an emergency. Senator Meredith. House Bill 6, an act relating to child care and declaring an emergency. House Bill 459, an act relating to licensed occupations. House Bill 470, an act relating to peer support professionals and declaring an emergency. And House Joint Resolution 50, a joint resolution directing the Auditor of Public Accounts to study the applicable statutes, administrative regulations, and agency policies and processes that directly impact the opening and operation of licensed and certified child care services in the Commonwealth. Also, the second reading of bills on the consent calendar. House Bill 3, an act relating to reimbursements for pharmacist services. House Bill 45, an act relating to the licensure of certified public accounts. House Bill 48, an act relating to physical therapy. House Bill 56, an act relating to programs administered by the Department of Agriculture. House Bill 111, an act relating to on-farm animal health. House Bill 184, an act relating to health savings account qualified insurance plans. House Bill 281, an act relating to the donation of food. House Bill 355, an act relating to real property appraisers.
Report. All those bills and resolutions having received their second reading are now in the possession of the Rules Committee for further action. The next order of business is a report of committee action. Mr. Clerk, please report.
The Health Services Committee has met and reports Senate Bill 77 should pass with Senate Committee Sub 1 and Senate Committee Title Amendment 1. Also, Health Services reports Senate Bill 147 should pass as consent. House Bill 134 should pass as consent with Senate Committee Sub 1. House Bill 280 should pass with Senate Committee Sub 1. House Bill 388 should pass as consent. Natural Resources and Energy Committee has met and reports Senate Bill 100 should pass the rules with Senate Committee Sub 1. Senate Bill 222 should pass. Senate Joint Resolution 134 should pass. The State and Local Government Committee has met and reports Senate Bill 149 should pass. Senate Bill 224 should pass the rules with Senate Committee Sub 1. Senate Bill 225 should pass the rules with Senate Committee Sub 1. Senate Bill 233 should pass. Senate Joint Resolution 75 should pass with Senate Committee Amendment 1. The Transportation Committee has met and reports Senate Joint Resolution 139 should pass with Senate Committee Sub 1 and Senate Committee Amendment Title 1. House Bill 648 should pass. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. All those bills that have had or resolution that have had a favorable committee report shall be deemed as having their first reading and are to be placed upon the calendar. Senate Bill 100 got a previous reading, I believe, yesterday, so it now has its second reading and is in the possession of the Rules Committee. Likewise for Senate Bill 224 and 225.
They have had previous readings, and they are now in the possession of the Rules Committee, all three subject to further action. Now, we will go to introduction of new resolutions. Mr. Clerk, do we have any new resolutions that have been filed? Please report those resolutions.
New resolution, Senate Resolution 159, resolution honoring Blake Burnett, recipient of the 2026 Wawa Jones Award, Senator Maiden. Senate Resolution 160, resolution recognizing November 2026 as Grieving Children and Families Month in Kentucky, Senator Meredith.
Does that conclude your report?
It does.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Next order of business would be orders of the day. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, the orders are before us on the screen. So with that, I move that Senate Bill 19 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title only, and placed upon its passage.
Mr. Clerk, if you would, please report Senate Bill 19.
Senate Bill 19, an act relating to mushrooms, Senator Maiden.
Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I yield to the senator from Bell for explanation of the bill.
Senator from Bell.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I can see the smile on your face, how you cannot wait to hear this story. But anyway, it's been an interesting bill. I've had a lot of calls, a lot of people asking me about it, and it's a pretty good story, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit before we talk about it. Senate Bill 19 is naming the official state mushroom the indigo blue milk cap mushroom. So during the interim, I visited several of my schools, and in Letcher County Central High School over in Whitesburg, Kentucky, is right in the center of my district in rural Kentucky. A beautiful school, sits up on the hill. I spent the day with them, and at the end of the day, one of their teachers, Mr. Wayne Cottle, the biology and science teacher, along with Bailey Sexton, Macy Sexton, Angel Jenkins, Haley Collins, Bella Banks, and Kaylee Coleman asked me if I knew that we didn't have a state mushroom. Well, I was a little bit embarrassed and a little bit not sure how to answer, so I just told them no, I did not. So they came up with the idea, and they sat down and showed me this beautiful blue mushroom that kind of fit in with the bluegrass state here. So I brought them up last week, and they did their presentation, and the committee members, I think, really enjoyed it. It was a little different type testimony. They're used to some going back and forth, but I think the committee members really appreciate it. But I hope my colleagues from Louisville will agree that even though they may bleed red, we are the bluegrass state, and we should have the blue indigo milk cap mushroom as our state mushroom. But if you have any questions about it, I do have Mr. Cottle on speed dial here that I can ask about, because about all I can tell you is it's blue and it's pretty. But anyway, there's been a lot of comment about why did I do this, and we got more to do than to be naming a mushroom. But if you'd seen those kids that day, the excitement in their face, and a lot of them the first time they'd ever been up here, and then we went down and did interviews with them, and they really enjoyed it. And we've seemed to, I know the senator from Taylor said, we can't use nicknames or anything, and we seem to have labeled a few. We've got the professor, and the senator from Scott says he's the cornbread and different things, but I'm the fun guy, okay? So I'm going to bring fun guy legislation, and that's what this legislation is. So, Mr. President, if there aren't any questions, I would move for approval of Senate Bill 19.
Of Senate Bill 19, Senator from Jefferson 35.
Yes, will the senator from Bell yield to a question?
Senator from Bell, will you yield to a question?
Yes, if she'll let me use my speed dial.
Senator from Jefferson 35, he will yield.
Did you consider making dry land fish the official mushroom?
Senator from Bell.
No, ma'am, I did not. I'm surprised that you know about the dry land fish living in Louisville.
Thank you, Mr. President.
From Jefferson 35.
Thank you.
Any other member seeking recognition for the purpose of question or discussion? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Berg. Senator Boswell. Senator Carpenter. Senator Carroll, Senator Chambers Armstrong, Senator Clemens, Senator Deneen, Senator Douglas, Senator Elkins, Senator Funky Fromeyer, Senator Girdler, Senator Givens, Senator Herron, Senator Higdon, Senator Howell, Senator Maiden.
Senator from Bell, please cast your vote.
I forgot one thing. On your desk, I'd passed out a little card that's got some of the state things that have been named. I happened to find those in my supply room in my office. I don't know why they were there, but that's the different flyers and birds and different things that we have named. And now the kids from Letcher County High School will have the official mushroom placed upon that card. So that's where those cards came from. I found them. So, and I'm an aye. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Mays Bledsoe, Senator McDaniel, Senator Meredith, Senator Mills, Senator Neal, Senator Nemes, Senator Nunn, Senator Rocky Adams, Senator Rawlings, Senator Reed, Senator Richardson, Senator Smith, Senator Stivers, Senator Storm, Senator Thomas, Senator Tishner, Senator Webb, Senator West, Senator Wheeler, Senator Williams, Senator Wilson, Senator Wise.
Seeing no one seeking recognition, there being 32 yeas, no nays, Senate Bill 19 is passed. Senator from Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. President. And we appreciate also Mr. Collar and students who are watching us today on the KET from the Letcher County Central Classroom. With that, Mr. President, I move that Senate Bill 198 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title only, and placed upon its passage.
Mr. Clerk, if you would, please report Senate Bill 198.
Senate Bill 198, an act relating to operations in the Office of the Attorney General. Senator Meredith.
Senator from Taylor.
President, I yield to the Senator from Grayson for explanation of the bill.
Senator from Grayson.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is what we call one of those simple little bills. I hope it doesn't mushroom into something more. This bill, you call back in the 2023 session, we passed Senate Bill 48, which dealt with the reorganization of the Cabinet for Health and Family Services. And one of the actions taken was to move the Child Support Payment Division to the Attorney General's office. And they've been quite successful in doing that. We've seen the results we anticipated, but to be fully functional, there's some things that they needed done, and that's the purpose of this bill. First, it will call for background checks for child support services staff. Also clarifies the state agency records custody, imposes a 10-year statute of limitation on civil actions brought by the Attorney General. It clarifies the administrative appeals process, that hearing officers do not have to be parties to judicial review actions and have to defend themselves before agency decisions in court. It also authorizes the board to hire private counsel at their own expense rather than rely on the Attorney General's office. It requires state agency to cooperate with the Attorney General in consumer protection matters. And lastly, it's a cleanup for the child support transition to the Cabinet for the Attorney General's office. And with that, Mr. President, if there's no questions, I move for final approval of Senate Bill 198.
The matter before the body is passage of Senate Bill 198. Seeing no one seeking recognition, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Berg, Senator Boswell, Senator Carpenter, Senator Carroll, Senator Chambers Armstrong, Senator Clemens, Senator Deneen, Senator Douglas, Senator Elkins, Senator Funky Fromeyer, Senator Girdler, Senator Givens, Senator Herron, Senator Higdon, Senator Howell, Senator Maiden, Senator Mays Bledsoe, Senator McDaniel, Senator Meredith, Senator Mills, Senator Neal, Senator Nemes, Senator Nunn, Senator Rocky Adams, Senator Rawlings, Senator Reed, Senator Richardson, Senator Smith, Senator Stivers, Senator Storm, Senator Thomas, Senator Tishner, Senator Webb, Senator West, Senator Wheeler, Senator Williams, Senator Wilson, Senator Wise.
How's an aye? Seeing no one seeking recognition, there being 32 yeas, no nays, Senate Bill 198 is passed. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I move that Senate Bill 65 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title only, and placed upon its passage.
Mr. Clerk, if you would, please report Senate Bill 65.
Senate Bill 65, an act relating to deficient administrative regulations and declaring an emergency. Senator West.
Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I yield to the Senator from Bourbon for explanation of the bill.
Senator from Bourbon.
Speak on the bill, Mr. President.
Please proceed.
Senate Bill 65, if you've been here any length of time in the Senate over the past 4 or 5 years, you've voted on this before. Many times it's been a bipartisan measure. It's the same bill number every year, and what it does is it puts some teeth into the administrative regs process. And so as chair of Administrative Regs Committee, we meet once a month and we discuss all the regulations that come through the legislature and act on those. And we're kind of the committee that's supposed to act as the watchdog for the legislature on regulations. And as part of that process, we can ask the cabinets and boards to defer on regulations, or we can find those regulations deficient. And so the deficiency, if we find a reg deficiency, that doesn't mean the regulation cannot go into effect. It's basically just a marker for the process. And so if we want that regulation to not go into effect, we have to take legislative action and find that piece of that regulation null and void. And that's what Senate Bill 65 does. It finds all those regulations that we found deficient null and void. As I state every year, I think we've done a very good job of allowing the boards and allowing the cabinets to do pretty much mostly what they want to do. In the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of regulations that we review in the committee, we have found 8 of those regulations deficient. And within the bill itself, you will see a list of those specific regulations. In the initial bill, Senate Bill 65, we only had 3 regulations. 2 of those dealt with the same subject matter. They dealt with tobacco and nicotine vaping products. That was the licensing for tobacco and nicotine of stores and locations. That came after Senator from Marion filed a bill on that. And then we also found a regulation deficient dealing with GLP-1s. The administration wanted to expand Medicaid coverage for GLP-1s. Doctors were already allowed to prescribe GLP-1s, but this has expanded it further, and we felt could have been a huge cost and a huge policy discussion. So those were the only 3 regulations found deficient. And however, this past Monday we found 5 additional regulations deficient, and that's what the Senate floor amendment does. And at this time, Mr. President, I would like to act on a floor amendment.
Mr. Clerk, if you would, please report Senate Floor Amendment number 1.
Senate Floor Amendment 1 to Senate Bill 65.
Senator from Bourbon.
Move for adoption.
Matter before the body is adoption of the amendment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Senate Floor Amendment number 1 is adopted. Senator from Bourbon.
Yes, as stated earlier, Mr. President, we had a meeting Monday, and we found 5 regulations deficient again. Two of those were simply the ordinary regs that came out from the tobacco and nicotine products. Our initial deficiency was the emergency regs. These were the ordinary regs. The other three regulations we found deficient were a regulation dealing with the emergency accessible online insurance verification system at the Department of Transportation. We can talk about that if we need to. The monitoring system for prescription controlled substances. This was requiring veterinarians to participate in CASPER. And then the final one was a very important regulation dealing with fictive kin caregivers. And the senator from Jefferson had a bill on that last year, and she's very interested in that. So those were the 5 regulations we found deficient Monday. And so all the Senate floor amendment does is include those 5 additional regulations within the body of Senate Bill 65. If there are no questions, Mr. President, I would ask for passage of SB 65 as amended by Senate Floor Amendment 1.
The matter before the body is passage of Senate Bill 65 as amended. Seeing no one seeking recognition, Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Hold on. Sorry. There was a late entry there. Senator from Jefferson, 33.
Thank you, Mr. President. If the senator would yield to a question.
Senator from Bourbon, will you yield?
I will yield.
He will yield. Senator from Jefferson, 33.
Senator from Bourbon, if Senate Bill 65 is adopted, would it nullify the existing kinship care regulations and prohibit the Cabinet of Health and Family Services from issuing new ones for another year?
Senator from Bourbon.
It would not. It would nullify the regulations before us, but the Cabinet could promulgate new regulations and come back in front of the committee.
Senator from Jefferson, 33.
If the senator would yield to another question.
Senator from Bourbon, will you yield to another question?
I will yield.
He will yield. Senator from Jefferson, 33.
Are you saying then that if you pass Senate Bill 65 and the Cabinet can come back or new regulations could be implemented or created, that this will not delay in any way the allocation of funds to those who need that to further the kinship care program?
Senator from Bourbon.
I did not state that, Mr. President. It will delay some. The Cabinet would have to start the process over. I don't believe it would take a year, though. They could start the process over tomorrow once this bill is passed.
Senator from Jefferson, 33.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other member seeking recognition for the purpose of question or discussion on the bill? Senator from Jefferson, 36.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to respond to the senator from Jefferson, 33. As you know, we passed Senate Bill 151 in 2024. And we found in March of 2026 the regulations deficient. It was a 2-year window that the Cabinet had the opportunity to submit these regulations if they were serious about implementing Senate Bill 151. So the senator from Jefferson 33, as he asked the question about will the Cabinet be able to promulgate regs, they could do it tomorrow. They could start the process tomorrow. It took them 2 years to promulgate these. So let's hope that the Cabinet will promulgate these tomorrow. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other member who is yet to be previously recognized? We'll come back to the senator from Jefferson, 33.
Thank you, Mr. President. If the senator that just spoke, would she yield to a question?
Senator from Jefferson, 36. Will you yield to a question?
Yes.
Senator from Jefferson, 36. She will yield.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator. So when Senate Bill 151 was promulgated, did the legislature provide any funding for that particular request or bill, so that there was money to fund the kinship program to the extent we're talking about today?
Senator from Jefferson, 36.
Thank you for asking that question, Senator from Jefferson 33. If you look at Senate Bill 151, what that bill asked the administration to do was, number one, promulgate regs about what the program would look like. Number two, investigate any federal funds that would be available to implement the program. After those two things are done, you could actually come up with what the general fund appropriation would need to be based upon those two things, how you design the program and what available federal funds there are. None of those two things happened in order to find out what the general fund appropriation needed to be in order to sufficiently implement the program that the regs would lay out.
Senator from Jefferson 33, do you have further question or further need?
No further. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other member seeking recognition who is yet to be previously recognized? Senator for Bourbon, are you seeking recognition again?
Yes, Mr. President.
Closing comment.
Closing comment. I did not intend to speak on this, on the fictive kin area, but we take a lot of testimony in Administrative Regs Committee. There's a lot of back and forth here, and this fictive kin piece of legislation has been one of the biggest political footballs since I've been here in the legislature. To play politics with such an important piece of legislation, in my opinion, is egregious. And the idea that there aren't any funds available in that whole cabinet to pay for fictive kin is a mystery to me. And another part of this regulation is that within the regulation itself, the cabinet put a provision in there that said if funds are available. If funds are available. So it was a new a precedent they were attempting to set, that we're not going to, as a cabinet, we're not going to enact this piece of legislation or do anything unless we think enough funds are there for us to do so. And that's not the job of the executive branch. The job of the executive branch is to execute the laws. Now, they can try their best to do that, and if the funds aren't there, their job is to come to the committee and make the case. But their job is to not legislate through regulation. And I would move for passage of Senate Bill 65 as amended by Floor Amendment 1.
Else seeking recognition? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Berg.
Senator from Jefferson 26, please cast your vote, then explain. Time limit is 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I stand to explain my no vote. You know, these administrative regulations are somewhat new to me. I don't know that I've been paying enough attention, but I mean, basically, we are actually legislating by avoiding these regulations. In particular, my concern has to do with the GLP-1s, that I know that many of the people in this chamber are very concerned that they're going to be too expensive and that we're not going to be able to afford them as a state. And so what we did is we negated the regulations. So we cannot do that. What I'm told is for another year, we cannot go back and address this issue. And I have the feeling that's going to hold true for every administrative reg that we negated. So instead of actually trying to work through the problem and figure out how do we fix it, I feel like we're sort of using this tool as a way to just say, no, 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 no. So I'm a no. Thank you.
Senator Boswell. Senator Carpenter. Senator Carroll. Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Clemens. Senator Deneen. Senator Douglas. Senator Elkins. Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Girdler. Senator Givens.
Senator from Green, please cast your vote and then explain, limited to 3 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I cast an aye vote. Mr. President, I cast an aye vote. I want to briefly speak to the role of this body and the work that the Senator from Bourbon and all of those on the Regs Committee do, because it's so vitally important. We often hear talk about the fourth branch of government being the regulatory authority of the executive branch. And that's not simply at the state level. We hear that often at the local, at the federal level as well. What we don't often talk about, though, is that we do, and for those that think that we have conflict, it's the nature of what happens here, we have the authority to take that power away. We can write or fail to write in all of these statutes the regulatory authority ability of any of these branches of government. You want to talk about really freezing up a state like ours? If we did not have the executive administration having regulatory authority in those spaces that they need it, and they do need it. They need it. We are the policymakers, though, and it's vitally important that we oversee that regulatory authority. And so every time any of us vote on a bill and we see in this legislation that we're granting to the Cabinet for Health and Family Services regulatory authority, the ability to promulgate regulations in that space, it's a recognition of the fact that they've got to have it, and we're giving it to them, but we're not giving away the oversight. And that's what this legislation is about. Thank you.
Senator Herron. Senator Higdon. Senator Howell.
Senator from Callaway, please cast your vote, then explain, limited to 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to explain my I vote.
Please proceed.
It's inevitable that some regulations are going to be found deficient, but going to the regulation trailing from Senate Bill 151, as someone who works in this arena every week and represents people every week that are faced with a choice of taking care and raising their grandkids or their nieces or nephews, and compromising their own financial security in the process, and to be forced into that decision that doesn't have a good answer, and they're doing the best they can. To see this administration continue to play political football with these people, I find absolutely morally reprehensible and despicable. And I hope that the cabinet starts tomorrow, as the senator from Jefferson 36 says, to write a responsible regulation to help these people out.
Senator Maiden. Aye. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Aye. Senator McDaniel. Aye. Senator Meredith. Aye. Senator Mills. Senator Neal.
Senator from Jefferson 33, please cast your vote, then explain.
I vote no. I'd like to explain my vote.
Please proceed.
You know, I was not in the middle of this piece, and we can throw the ball back and forth as to who's playing politics or not, but we all are doing politics. There's no escape from that. And I guess the legislature could point its finger, and I guess the executive can point its finger, and we do make mistakes, and sometimes we make mistakes in judgment. I can't defend that because I know that happens. None of us are pure in that regard. Not this legislature, nor the executive. Even the judiciary makes mistakes and comes back and tries to clear it up. That's not where I'm coming from. Where I'm coming from is that you have a program here as clearly articulated by the senator that spoke previously on his I vote, Callaway, which I agree with. There's a delay. Those people who are in the clutches of this fine work and really the voluntarism that's associated with it are the ones that suffer from the delay. Not to mention those are in that orbit that depend on their input and their support. That's where I'm coming from. So it's not aimed at an individual, it's not aimed at the executive, it's not aimed at the legislature, it's aimed at the delay. And when people can get across from each other, we know how to fix things. We don't have to juxtapose ourselves to each other every 5 minutes and then point a finger across. I'm not going there. Because it's really about those people, it's about that program, it's about the delay, it's about those people who suffer from those delays. And we have the ability to fix it. I've seen us fix things all the time. And I applaud my colleagues. I applaud the legislature and the Senate, which is truly a deliberative body. But I don't want to be misunderstood here. This is really not about you. It's really not about the legislature or the executive. It's about the people who are adversely affected over something we could get around a table and fix. Vote no.
Senator Nemes. Senator Nunn. Senator Rocky Adams.
Senator from Jefferson 36, cast your vote, then explain, limited to 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I cast an aye vote, and I want there to be no misconceptions about this. Senate Bill 151 and the regs associated with it are only a piece of Senate Bill 65, but it's an important piece to me, and I'm very passionate about this piece of the bill. We have families that are in crisis. We have a foster care system that is inadequate. And I want everyone in this chamber to know that from this minute going forward, I would work with the administration to come up with the regs that are needed to implement this. But the regs are such a critical piece of how we fund this, that the fact that we had it 2 years late is so frustrating for those of us that want to take care of these kids and wrap our arms around these kids that are in crisis situations. So from this minute going forward, I pledge to work with anybody who can help implement this bill and fund these families that are really in crisis. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Rawlings. Senator Reed. Senator Richardson. Senator Smith. Senator Stivers.
Aye.
Senator Storm. Senator Thomas.
Senator from Fayette 13, please cast your vote, then explain, limited to 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to explain my no vote. Mr. President, Governor Beshear has made it very clear since this issue first came to light. This issue really goes back from the minute we adjourned sine die in 2024, that he is open and wants to resolve this issue regarding kinship care. And for the public, when we talk about fitness care, let me be very clear what we're talking about. We're talking about those grandparents or aunts and uncles who are taking children of their family members, either their grandchildren or their children or their nieces and nephews, and providing care for them because the parents, for whatever reason, cannot provide for that. And of course, these grandparents, these aunts and uncles need help. They need financial help to do so. So that's what we're talking about. As is clear here today, when this bill was passed, it did not have an appropriation addressed to it. So the governor was handicapped in terms of what he could do to finance this. Okay? There was controversy and conversation going on throughout the last 18 months about how to address this matter where you had a unfunded mandate. Okay. Regulations were finally promulgated. The legislature has now found those regulations deficient. So now, as the senator from Jefferson 33 has acknowledged, we've got to start the process all over again. So that's where we are. Yes, all of us want those grandparents, those aunts and uncles who are taking care of children to receive money. We've just got to get there, and this is a way for the legislature to work with the governor to find a solution. I vote no.
Senator Tishner. Senator Webb. Senator West. Senator Wheeler. Senator Williams. Senator Wilson. Senator Wise.
Seeing no person seeking recognition, and there being 26 yeas, 6 nays, Senate Bill 65 as amended is passed. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I move that Senate Bill 66 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title only, and placed upon its passage.
Mr. Clerk, if you would, please report Senate Bill 66.
Senate Bill 66, an act relating to the operation of a motor vehicle. Senator Storm.
Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I yield to the Senator from Laurel for explanation of the bill.
Senator from Laurel.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Please ask the clerk to report Senate Committee Substitute 1 to Senate Bill 66.
Mr. Clerk, please report.
Senate Committee Sub 1 to Senate Bill 66.
Senator from Laurel.
Move adoption.
Matter for the body is adoption. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Senate Committee Substitute Number 1 is adopted. Senator from Laurel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 66, as amended by the Senate Committee Substitute, updates Kentucky's DUI statutes in several important ways. Following the 2021 Kentucky Supreme Court decision in McCarthy, it makes clear that if a person refuses to submit to a blood test, the fact of the refusal will result in suspension of his or her driver's license by the court at the time of the arraignment. And if the person is subsequently convicted of a DUI, his or her license will be suspended by the Transportation Cabinet. Secondly, it makes clear that the Transportation Cabinet shall maintain records of moving traffic convictions for 10 years. This is because DUIs stay on your record for 10 years, Mr. President. Thirdly, it adds 3 substances as per se controlled substances for DUI prosecutions. Primarily fentanyl is included, Mr. President. Mr. President, at this time, please ask the clerk to report Senate Amendment 1 to Senate Committee Substitute 1 of Senate Bill 66.
Mr. Clerk, please report.
Senate Floor Amendment 1 to Senate Committee Sub 1 to Senate Bill 66.
Senator from Laurel.
Move adoption.
Matter for the body is adoption of the floor amendment. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Senate Floor Amendment Number 1 is adopted. Senator from Laurel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, Senate Floor Amendment 1 makes a technical correction in the Senate Committee Substitute to the implied consent warning regarding the administration of the PBT. Mr. President, we've worked with the County Attorneys Association on this bill. We try to make sure that we get this issue right. And if there are no questions, I move passage of Senate Bill 66 as amended by Senate Committee Substitute 1 and Senate Floor Amendment 1.
The matter before the body is passage of Senate Bill 66 as amended. Seeing no one seeking recognition, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Berg. Senator Boswell. Senator Carpenter. Senator Carroll. Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Clemens. Senator Deneen. Senator Douglas. Senator Elkins. Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Girdler. Senator Givens. Senator Herron. Senator Higdon. Senator Howell. Senator Maiden. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel. Senator Meredith. Senator Mills. Senator Neal. Senator Nemes. Senator Nunn. Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Rawlings. Senator Reed. Senator Richardson. Senator Smith. Senator Stivers.
Aye.
Senator Storm. Senator Thomas. Senator Tishner. Senator Webb. Senator West. Senator Wheeler. Senator Williams. Senator Wilson. Senator Wise.
Seeing no one seeking recognition, there being 31 yeas, no nays, Senate Bill 66 as amended is passed. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I move that Senate Bill 221 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title only, and placed upon its passage.
Mr. Clerk, if you would, please report Senate Bill 221.
Senate Bill 221, an act relating to abuse of a corpse. Senator Storm.
Senator from Taylor.
President, I yield to the Senator from Laurel for explanation of the bill.
Senator from Laurel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Each year in the United States, approximately 20,000 people donate their bodies to science upon their deaths. These selfless donations offer the nation's aspiring physicians, surgeons, and dentists with educational insights that are essential to the future of the medical profession. After these donated bodies fulfill their scientific purposes, they are transferred to mortuaries, cremated or embalmed, and then returned to the surviving family members or otherwise laid to rest, Mr. President. Unfortunately, in April of 2023, Candace Chapman Scott of Little Rock, Arkansas, was indicted on numerous federal charges regarding the interstate sale of human remains, all of which belonged to bodies that were initially donated to the Arkansas Medical School for examination and research. Sadly, instead of preparing each body for its final rest, she began selling select body parts from the mortuary, transporting them to her home in trash bags and selling them online to a gentleman by the name of Jeffrey Pauley in Pennsylvania. Over the course of the next 9 months, she stole, sold, and shipped 24 boxes of human remains. Mr. President, sadly, she also sold 2 stillborn children, one of whom was baby Lux. The mother thought that when she received the ashes of this child, that those were, in fact, her child's. Unfortunately, an investigation into Mr. Pauley revealed that numerous human remains were similarly stolen from Harvard Medical School, morgues in Boston, and other areas, all sold and shipped to buyers around the country. Unfortunately, the laws prevented appropriate prosecutions of these individuals, and so the federal government had to step in and prosecute these individuals. Mr. President, more often than not, these victims and their stories suffer insult to injury. That's because more than 40 states, including a number of SLC member states, don't have the appropriate laws on the book. Mr. President, Senate Bill 221 makes clear that anyone who knowingly purchases, sells, transfers, or offers to purchase, sell, or transfer a corpse or any part of a corpse for consideration after that corpse has been authorized for final disposition through cremation or burial is guilty of abuse of a corpse, a Class D felony. Mr. President, if there are no questions, I move the passage of Senate Bill 221.
The matter before the body is passage of Senate Bill 221. Seeing no one seeking recognition, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Berg. Senator Boswell. Senator Carpenter. Senator Carroll. Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Clemens. Senator Deneen. Senator Douglas. Senator Elkins. Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Girdler. Senator Givens. Senator Herron. Senator Higdon. Senator Howell. Senator Maiden. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel. Senator Meredith. Senator Mills. Senator Neal. Senator Nemes. Senator Nunn. Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Rawlings. Senator Reed. Senator Richardson. Senator Smith. Senator Stivers. Senator Storm. Senator Thomas. Senator Tishner. Senator Webb. Senator West. Senator Wheeler. Senator Williams. Senator Wilson. Senator Wise.
There being 32 yeas, no nays, Senate Bill 221 is passed. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I move that Senate Bill 312 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title only, and placed upon its passage.
Mr. Clerk, please report.
Senate Bill 312, an act relating to court-ordered transports. Senator Storm.
Senator from Taylor.
President, I yield back to the Senator from Laurel for explanation of the bill.
Senator from Laurel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 312 is a result of my work in collaboration with Darren Allen, Court Security Manager of the Administrative Office of the Courts, Jerry Wagner, former Fleming County Sheriff and current Director of the Kentucky Sheriff's Association, and Pat Morgan, former Kenton County Chief Deputy and current Deputy Director of the Kentucky Sheriff's Association. Mr. President, Senate Bill 312 fixes a gap that currently exists regarding 202 involuntary hospitalizations and commitments for persons suffering from mental illness. Currently, law enforcement agencies do not have sufficient staffing or manpower to use deputy sheriffs to transport 202A persons suffering from mental illness to and from hospitals for mental evaluations. So many agencies must rely upon certified court security officers to transport these individuals. However, currently, certified court security officers shall not go outside the immediate area of the court facility except when transporting prisoners, as the wording of the statute. Persons subject to 202A inquiries are not prisoners, Mr. President. That's exactly why Senate Bill 312 is vitally important. Senate Bill 312 makes clear that certified court security officers can, in fact, transport prisoners or other individuals being detained or in custody as ordered by the court. They can also arrest individuals in the immediate area of the court facility or while transporting, monitoring, or supervising prisoners or other individuals ordered transported by the court. Mr. President, if there are no questions, I move passage of Senate Bill 312.
The matter for the body is passage of Senate Bill 312. Seeing no person seeking recognition, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Berg, Senator Boswell, Senator Carpenter, Senator Carroll, Senator Chambers Armstrong, Senator Clemens, Senator Deneen, Senator Douglas, Senator Elkins, Senator Funky Fromeyer, Senator Girdler, Senator Givens, Senator Herron, Senator Higdon, Senator Howell, Senator Maiden, Senator Mays Bledsoe, Senator McDaniel, Senator Meredith, Senator Mills, Senator Neal, Senator Nemes, Senator Nunn, Senator Rocky Adams, Senator Rawlings, Senator Reed, Senator Richardson, Senator Smith, Senator Stivers, Senator Storm, Senator Thomas, Senator Tishner, Senator Webb, Senator West, Senator Wheeler, Senator Williams, Senator Wilson, Senator Wise.
Any members seeking recognition to cast, change, or explain their vote? Seeing none, there being 32 yea votes, no nay votes, Senate Bill 312 is passed. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I move that Senate Bill 291 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title only, and placed upon its passage.
Mr. Clerk, please report Senate Bill 291.
Senate Bill 291, an act relating to recyclers and declaring an emergency. Senator Storm.
Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I yield back to the Senator from Laurel for explanation of the bill.
Senator from Laurel, you're recognized for the purpose of action on Senate Bill 291.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last session, this body passed Senate Bill 64, an act relating to key infrastructure assets and declaring an emergency. Specifically, there were 0 no votes in either chamber, Mr. President. As you will recall, key infrastructure assets were updated to include a facility, equipment, or communication line that is used in the delivery of cable television, telephony, or broadband service, or electrical highway infrastructure at the request of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. Senate Bill 64 made it a Class D felony to damage, possess, or tamper with the operation of a key infrastructure asset in a manner that renders the asset inoperable in whole or in part, or renders the operation of the asset harmful or dangerous. This body passed Senate Bill 64 because copper thieves were absolutely wreaking havoc across the Commonwealth, causing outages regarding key infrastructure assets near schools, courthouses, hospitals, and intersections. Mr. President, Senate Bill 291 is a result of continuing efforts to combat this repeated attack on our key infrastructure assets throughout the Commonwealth. On January 5th, 26, I received notice from Stephanie Bell with Kinetic around 11 a.m., broad daylight, Mr. President, that Kinetic had suffered a system outage that went from East Bernstadt in Laurel County, Kentucky, to Berea in Madison County. Copper thieves had cut 1,500 feet of telephone lines and cut the telephone pole down to the ground. That was on US 25 in Laurel County, a major roadway. That impacted Rockcastle County Dispatch, AT&T cell towers from Laurel County all the way up through Madison County. At 4:24 p.m., I was able to communicate with the mayor of Livingston in Rockcastle County, who verified that the 911 communication system was still down. Mayor Singleton reported to me that during this outage, a 103-year-old individual had fallen and needed EMS. Mr. President, copper thieves are continuing to cash in on their stolen loot, and Senate Bill 291 is designed to address that by creating a licensing and oversight of secondary metal, automobile, vehicle, machinery, and material recyclers by the Motor Vehicle Commission, requiring recyclers to obtain a license through the Motor Vehicle Commission and comply with regulations as set forth by the Commission. Specified recyclers are also required to report into Leads Online database for all metal transactions.
The bill strengthens previous legislation to prevent copper wire theft throughout the state and is modeled on policies adopted by Louisville's Critical Infrastructure Task Force established in 2024. I've participated in that task force from time to time, Mr. President, and what we're trying to do is take this not as strict as Louisville's, but statewide. Important to this, Mr. President, is participating in the negotiations of this bill were Spectrum, Charter, AT&T Kentucky, Kinetic Windstream, Comcast, the Kentucky Broadband and Cable Association, Alta Fiber, as well as Babbage co-founder and their clients, Recycled Material Association, River Metals Recycling, and we received support from the National Insurance Crime Bureau, Mr. President. If there are no questions at this time, I move passage of Senate Bill 291.
The motion before the body is on the passage of Senate Bill 291. Are there any members seeking recognition to speak on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Berg, Senator Boswell, Senator Carpenter, Senator Carroll, Senator Chambers Armstrong, Senator Clemens, Senator Deneen, Senator Douglas, Senator Elkins, Senator Funky Fromeyer, Senator Girdler, Senator Gibbons,
Aye.
Senator Herron, Senator Higdon, Senator Howell, Senator Maiden, Senator Mays Bledsoe, Senator McDaniel, Senator Meredith, Senator Mills, Senator Neal, Senator Nemes, Senator Nunn, Senator Rocky Adams, Senator Rawlings, Senator Reed, Senator Richardson, Senator Smith, Senator Stivers, Senator Storm, Senator Thomas, Senator Tishner, Senator Webb, Senator West, Senator Wheeler, Senator Williams, Senator Wilson, Senator Wise.
Any member seeking recognition to cast, change, or explain their vote? Seeing none, there being 31 yea votes, 1 nay vote, Senate Bill 291 is passed. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I move that Senate Bill 323 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title only, and placed upon its passage.
Mr. Clerk, please report Senate Bill 323.
Senate Bill 323, an act relating to the production of medical records.
Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I yield to the Senator from Clay for explanation of the bill.
From Clay, you're recognized for the purpose of action on Senate Bill 323.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the body. When we come here as legislators, be it in the Senate or the House, we don't check our life experiences at the door. I still practice law occasionally, and some of the people I represent happen to be health care providers, such as the senator from Jefferson's 36 or the senator from Jessamine. As I have done this over the years, we get subpoenas. We're not a party to the action, but we get subpoenas served on my client on a Friday to deliver health care records maybe on a Monday or Tuesday. These records may be 2 or 3 years old. They may not be at a point of central location. And it becomes very difficult to comply with those when a lot of times they are served late in the week for an early week hearing. So all this does is if you want as a lawyer to subpoena, and it's called a subpoena to deliver records or ducis tecum, you have to give at least 14 days notice, serve it 14 days in advance of the desired date for those records to be produced. That's all, pretty simple, and anybody who practices law should be able to comply with this without any problems. If there are no questions, or if there are, I would accept them, but if there are no questions, I would move for passage of Senate Bill 323.
Motion for the body is on the passage of Senate Bill 323. Any members seeking recognition to speak on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Berg, Senator Boswell, Senator Carpenter, Senator Carroll, Senator Chambers Armstrong.
Senator from Jefferson 19, please cast your vote and explain.
I vote yes. May I explain?
Please proceed.
My only concern about this legislation, and I am voting yes, is how it will interact with our domestic violence laws, which require a hearing to be set within 14 days of the initial petition being filed. And in some circumstances, you might need medical records subpoenaed, and often those hearings happen 8, 9, 10 days after they're initially filed. So I'm voting yes. I think it's a good bill, and I look forward to having further conversations about how it will interact with our domestic violence laws. Thank you.
Senator Clemens. Senator Deneen. Senator Douglas. Senator Elkins. Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Girdler. Senator Givens. Senator Herron. Senator Higdon. Senator Howell. Senator Maiden. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel. Senator Meredith. Senator Mills. Senator Neal. Senator Nemes. Senator Nunn. Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Rawlings. Senator Reed. Senator Richardson. Senator Smith. Senator Stivers. Senator Storm. Senator Thomas. Senator Tishner. Senator Webb. Senator West. Senator Wheeler. Senator Williams. Senator Wilson. Senator Wise.
Any member seeking recognition to cast, change, or explain their vote? Seeing none, there being 32 yea votes, no nay votes, Senate Bill 323 is passed. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, we're going to pass over the remaining bills that are in the orders, that being Senate Bill 34, Senate Bill 261, and Senate Joint Resolution 62, but I ask that they retain their place in the orders of the day.
Hearing no objection, record will reflect that we are passing over the aforementioned Senate bills, and they will retain their place in the orders of the day along with the Senate Joint Resolution. Senator from Taylor.
And Mr. President, with that, that concludes the orders of the day.
Thank you, sir. The next order of business is meeting of the Rules Committee and Committee on Committees. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I move that the Senate recess for meeting of the Rules Committee and the Committee on Committees at the clerk's desk, please.
This Senate shall stand in recess till the call of the chair for the aforementioned committee meetings.
But you never partake. That's okay. We'll just put it on the bill. That's right.
Madam Secretary, all members present, point of declared committee on committee shall come to order. Senator from Taylor, you have a motion.
Mr. President, motion following for Committee on Committees bill referrals for Wednesday, March the 11th, 2026. To Economic Development, Tourism, and Labor, Senate Bill 249, House Bill 333. The Education Committee, House Bill 96, House Bill 253, House Bill 555, House Bill 562. To Judiciary, Senate Bill 281, House Bill 5, House Bill 305, House Bill 366, House Bill 529. And to the Senate floor, Senate Resolutions 149, 151, 152, 153, 154.
Motion is second. Question or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Body shall come to order. Next order of business will be report of committees. Mr. Clerk, please report.
The Rules Committee has met and posted these bills to the regular orders for Thursday, March 12th, 2026. Senate Bill 97, Senate Bill 100. And the Rules Committee has posted these bills to the regular orders for Friday, March 13th, 2026. Senate Bill 224, Senate Bill 225, Senate Bill 333, Senate Concurrent Resolution 66, and House Bill 290. And the Committee on Committees has met and referred the following bills and resolutions to Economic Development, Tourism, and Labor Committee, House Bill 249, Senate Bill 249 and House Bill 333. To the Education Committee, House Bills 96, 253, 555, and 562. To the Judiciary Committee, Senate Bill 281, House Bills 5, 305, 366, and 529. And to the Senate floor, Senate Resolutions 149, 151, 152, 153, and 154.
Mr. Clerk, does that conclude your report? Thank you, sir. Next order of business will be motions, petitions, resolutions, communications, and announcements. Senator from Jefferson 33.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Mr. President, would you ask the clerk to report Senate Resolution 107 by title only?
Mr. Clerk, would you please report Senate Resolution 107 by title only?
Senate Resolution 107, resolution recognizing and honoring Rudy William Grant, the Consul General of Barbados, and welcoming him to the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
Senator from Jefferson 33.
Move adoption.
Matter for the body is adoption of the resolution. Without objection, it is so adopted.
Thank you.
Senator from Hardin.
Resolution. Mr. President, could you have the clerk report Senate Resolution 156, please, title only?
Mr. Clerk, if you would.
Senate Resolution 156, resolution adjourning the Senate in honor and memory of the life and sacrifice of Staff Sergeant Benjamin Pennington, who paid the ultimate price in service to our nation.
Senator from Hardin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to share with the body the recent loss of Sergeant Ben Pennington from my district. He was a fine young man. His parents, Tim and Carrie, and his older sister, Mackenzie. Tim was in sales, and he dedicated his time, and still does, as a paraprofessional, helping the Central Hardin High School track and field teams. And Carrie, his mother, works in our regional hospital in medical billing. From a very early age, Ben knew where he wanted to be, and that was in our service to his country. I saw a report where his family shared the story of him drawing a picture when he was a kindergartner of himself dressed as a soldier standing in front of an American flag. That's the kind of young man Ben was. He was a scout, rising to the ultimate level of Eagle Scout, growing up there in Hardin County. We want the Pennington family to know that we hurt along with them. The Commonwealth, his community, and the country. Ben was recognized for his service. He's been awarded more than 5 medals, along with multiple ribbons, and even raised in rank to Staff Sergeant. Ben was assigned to the 1st Space Battalion, 1st Space Brigade of the U.S. Army Space and Missile Defense Command based in Fort Carson. The unit's mission was focused on missile warning, GPS, and long-haul satellite communications. He was seriously wounded at the scene of an attack on U.S. troops at Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. I've talked to many people back home that grew up with him as teachers. Folks from Glendale, small town. They all said the same thing. He was an honorable young man dedicated to his country, his community, and he was a true servant of his Lord and Savior, his family, and his community. And he exhibited that every day. He gave his life for what he loved doing, what he grew up wanting to be. At this time, on behalf of a grateful Commonwealth and nation, I would like to move for adoption of Senate Resolution 156.
The matter before the body is adoption of the resolution. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Resolution is adopted. Senator from Hardin, a few days ago we stood in silence for this young man. Please send this back to his family and friends as an expression of our sympathy, our condolences, and our thankfulness that young men like that are willing to serve. Senator from Scott.
Announcement, Mr. President.
Please proceed.
Sorry, I feel a little awkward at the moment to announce, but Mr. President, the Governor's School for Entrepreneurs, also known as GSE, is having a student business showcase in the Capitol Annex, room 125 tomorrow from 11 to 1:15. It'll be an engaging reception with GSE alumni as we celebrate student-founded businesses from across Kentucky. You get to meet young entrepreneurs, experience their products firsthand, and see how GSE is driving innovation and strengthening Kentucky's future workforce, Mr. President.
Members, please take note. Senator from Laurel.
Announcement, Mr. President.
Please continue.
Mr. President, the Judiciary Committee will meet tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. We have several bills on the agenda. Thank you.
Senator from Hardin.
It's a reminder that the VMAP Committee will meet in the morning.
Any other member seeking recognition in this order of business? Senator from Bourbon.
Announcement, Mr. President.
Please continue.
Education Committee will meet tomorrow at 10 a.m. Have several bills on the docket.
Any other member seeking recognition? Seeing none. Mr. Clerk, do we have any new floor amendments? Do we have any new resolutions? Then the next order of business is adjournment. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I move that the Senate shall stand adjourned until 2 p.m. Thursday, March the 12th, year of our Lord, 2026.
Without objection, this Senate shall stand adjourned to the hour of 2 p.m. Thursday, March 12th, year of our Lord, 2026. You're more than welcome. More than welcome.